I wrote a blog post over on zesty.com, how to create an e-course and where to start. I had a friend over today, Manuela, and the two of us have spent a few hours researching how to create an e-course. And we thought we'd come up with a stack of questions that we wanted to get answered today, and we wrote this blog post about it, and I'll put the link in the show notes. And what I'm going to do with this video is now answer those questions. So I'm going to summarize about 3 or 4 hours of our research into probably about 10 minutes for you. So who this is for is anybody that is considering creating an e-course online. And what we mean by an e-course is essentially structuring knowledge to share on an online platform. There are a lot of different phrases that people use for this. So they use e-learning or e-course and online learning. There's a lot of different terms for it, but essentially it's the same thing. We came up with 8 different categories, which I'm reading off here. This is the blog post that I can send the link to. So firstly, we talked about the content, then the platform, the method and structure, the actual creation, pricing it, marketing, managing, and updating. So there's 30 questions. Let's get stuck into it. But what I hope to do by creating this video is to save time for a lot of you out there that are going through this process as well. And I would also love to hear your comments. If you've gone through this, tell me what you've learned and whether it aligns with what I'm sharing. And we can all learn from each other. That's the cool thing about online tools and social media. By the way, for those who don't know me, I have run an online social media school for a few years. And Manuela, who came and met with me today, I'm in The Hague in the Netherlands, and she is an NLP coach and trainer and a leadership trainer. And I've put a link in the blog post to her site as well. So the very first question we had is, what content do we have both written and in our heads that is of value to others? Both of us have run a number of live workshops. We've worked as consultants and staff members with large to small organizations and individuals. And we find that regularly people are coming to us and asking us to share the knowledge that we have. So we figured that yes, we already have a lot of content and experience that we would like to share with other people. Secondly, how do we structure that content to convey it to others? And looking at the workshops that we have already run in the past, as well as teaching that I've done. I currently teach at The Hague University as a lecturer there, and both of us have done a number of online courses ourselves, read a lot of books, attended a lot of workshops. So we're familiar with the structure of e-learning and just learning in general, that you need to break it down into bite-sized pieces. How long will it take to create the content? We've realized today it is quite a big job. It's not an easy thing that you can kind of throw together, at least not if you want a quality course. What is our own IP and what is others? So you can certainly share content that other people have, or recommend books, or recommend different resources. But IP, and by IP I mean intellectual property, you have to think about, if you're writing materials, who owns those? And if you're sharing, you have to very clearly highlight who you got the content from as well, if you're sharing other people's materials. What are others out there doing with e-learning, and who can we benchmark against? I'll share some links later, but there's a lot of people jumping on this trend at the moment, and we think it's a very strong trend that is of interest to a lot of people and likely to continue to expand. Number 2 is the platform for e-learning, and which platform should we choose? We looked mostly at Udemy and Skillshare today, which are 2 big platforms that have grown over the last few years. Another one that I use for the Zesty Social Media School is Sensei, and that is from WooCommerce, and it's a plugin. That is something you need a little bit of technical skills for, and I've spent many hours building that course. There's others out there as well. Another one we looked at was Fedora, which is a fairly new one, and there's many others, but we decided to just focus on those 4 to look at. Should we use more than one platform? For Manuela, we decided she should just pick one and stick with it because this isn't the core of her business. And for me, I decided I'd like to try them all out because I'm a social media specialist and trainer. I love e-learning. I have started speaking on this topic. So for me, it's also learning about the e-learning. I want to try out all the different platforms. I thought it'd also be really interesting to do a similar course across all those platforms and see how it goes on those, excuse me. And I noticed that Seth Godin, a wonderful business guru, has done the same. He was on, I think he started on Skillshare and now he's got a course on Udemy. So he's obviously trying them out as well. The advantages and disadvantages of the various platforms are too many to go into for this video. That's another blog post in itself. But if you look at the different websites, Udemy, Skillshare, Fedora, and WooCommerce Sensei, you can have a look through and figure that out, or you're welcome to ask me and I'll look at writing a blog post on that in the future. So the third category is the method and structure for e-learning. And firstly, how can we most efficiently go about creating an e-course? So we're talking about using materials that we already have, structuring stuff that we've already got, rather than creating everything completely from scratch, gathering feedback that we've already had from clients and seeing what people want. And how exactly should we structure it? We also looked at, you can do surveys, like use SurveyMonkey or one of those tools to ask people what do they want to learn so that you can structure it in that way. What kind of workflow we need to use it to do this all efficiently. I'm not sure if I can pick my computer up, but I've got a workflow on my wall here that I can walk across and show you. So this is a workflow that I've done here, which you'll see in reverse, I think, if you're watching it online. But these are all the different sections of my e-course that I need to take care of. And that is based on my social media school, which is a WordPress platform I've built using different tools and plugins. And there's a lot more to it than you first think. So you need to answer emails from people. If you're taking payment, you have to think about payment systems, building a database. I need to look at that. I'll take a photo and add it on as well. But the point being that there's a lot of sections of an e-course that you need to think about. It's not just the content. There's a lot more to it than that, which all takes time. The point, can students sign up at any time and go through it as they wish, or will there be a set study period? In the beginning, when I started the Zesty Social Media School, which was 3 years ago now, I had I think it was a 12-week period where people signed up together and finished together. And now, with people's really busy schedules and so much information out there, we've found that people often want to start and finish at times that suit them. That said, though, then people will often think, oh, well, I'll do it later, and they don't actually get to it. So there's some points to think about with the set study period. How will students access the materials on a computer, iPad, iPhone, or other manner? So things are getting very mobile now. And with the e-courses I'm doing on Udemy and Skillshare, the ones I'm following, I find it really handy to just have on my iPad or on my iPhone, so that when I'm cooking dinner or ironing or doing something pretty mindless, I can turn on my e-course and watch it in those little blocks, or when I'm at my kids' swimming lessons or something like that. So we wanted something that would be mobile. Up to point 4, I hope you're handling all this information. We were also a bit like, whoa, there's a lot to learn today, but I think going through these point by point, it will hopefully help you think about the same things. So the creation of the e-course, actually creating the videos and text, do we do it ourselves or do we need help? And with that, what we meant is, do we hire a videographer to record our things? Like here, I've got a laptop set up in my attic. I'm looking at buying proper backdrops and lighting and, playing around here with sheets hung up for backdrops and, stuff like that. But needs to be something professional. So we're trying to look at that. But you'll see a lot of different courses with a lot of different quality standards. What kind of balance of materials is optimal? And what we meant by that is some courses will be purely video, some will be text or PDFs or downloads, some will be, you know, a lot of text. The original Zesty Social Media School that I had is a lot of text, and I'm looking at making that a bit more of a mix, like PDFs and downloads. So we feel that that is worthwhile to do, but again, takes time. Should we and can we create quizzes to assess learning? Some platforms offer this. There's one that I've done at the moment called Grovo. You can't build your own course on there, but it's a neat little learning tool, and you can't move on to the next one until you pass the quiz. So that's also a great way to structure learning. Sensei offer quizzes. I don't think Skillshare or Udemy do at the moment. How long will it take to create an e-course? When I've done my previous ones, countless hours go into it. So even if you think, oh, I've got all the information already, I'll just put it together, you need to think, you need to allocate time to doing this. What kind of tools do we need? Screencasting was one. So there's some screencasting tools like Screener and other tools out there. Camtasia is another one. So screencasting, if you're new to it, is where you record what's happening on your screen. So for me as a social media trainer, that's important when I'm creating an e-course, but other people, you might not need that. And other kind of tools. So I have a iMac, I have a MacBook Pro, I have an iPad and an iPhone. So I'm kind of supporting at least one Apple staff member. And you can create a course with these kind of tools these days. And depending on the platform, you need to see what their requirements are as well. Up to point 5, we're more than halfway through, is pricing the e-course. So should we charge for our course and how much? This is a big discussion. We saw that even on Udemy, when courses are priced, they can be priced anywhere from 10 euros, we're in the Netherlands, or dollars, US dollars, right through to hundreds. Now, because there's so much stuff out there, pricing more than about 50 euros, we figured would just not be feasible. But if you sign up on these big platforms like Udemy and Skillshare, what they do is discount. So that comes to the next point. How much of the earnings would we keep if hosting on another platform? So this is quite a complex area we're looking into at the moment. A lot of the percentages that you earn as a trainer on these platforms are fairly complex. They do have things like our trainers average 7,000, but you know, I don't really believe that, to be honest. And we agreed that setting up an e-course, at least for the two of us, is not a moneymaker. It's more a resource and something we're doing for people that already know us or that we would market to, and marketing is the next point. But just to finish off the pricing, what are the costs of actually setting up and maintaining a course? Big bulk of our time, so many hours that would take away from other activities we could do. The actual monetary costs, if you use Sensei or a learning management system platform like that you have to buy. I bought it when I was new to this a couple of years ago, and I managed to get a lifetime license, which is what they're offering then. But now they charge, I think it's US $129 per year. Then when my websites got hacked, I needed to pay someone to help me fix that. I needed to pay for my hosting. I needed to pay for a lot of that stuff. So if you use Skillshare or Udemy, you don't have to pay for that stuff, but you need to keep in mind that you will then earn a lot less. So a lot of stuff to think about. Marketing. So who are our target market? Like I said, our target market for the two of us are initially those people that we personally know or potential clients. But once you get out there on these platforms, there's potentially a lot of people that are potential students. And once you have a course, how should we let people know about it? I would share on my Facebook page. I have a fairly strong following across a few different platforms I've built for many years, including Dutch Australian, Professional Parents. I have a new one, Culture and Kids. So if I'm running a course, I can share to my current database. Will the platforms we decide to use also market on our behalf? Yes, Udemy and Skillshare absolutely do. Sensei don't. That's all up to you. And do we need to spend money on marketing? Well, that's completely up to whoever creates the course. Is it worth spending money on marketing the course? What are you going to get out of it? Are you selling the actual course and making money out of that, or will you make money out of, say, consulting? Point 7, if you've stayed this long, well done. I know it's a lot of information. I speak very quickly, but I'm trying to cram all this stuff we've learned into a compact package so that you can benefit from that, and so that we've got a record of all of this as well. So managing the e-learning course. So once people sign up, do they need much input and interaction? Think about that when you're constructing your course. How much time will your students want to talk to you? Do they email you? Do they message you? Are there discussion boards you need to take part in? I have a Facebook group for the Zesty Social Media School, and at first I had thought, okay, I've got 50 students or so, that's going to take maybe an hour a week or more to answer questions. But a lot of students sign up and then don't really interact with you. So I guess it's kind of like a gym. Signing up for a course isn't going to teach you the knowledge. You have to put the work in, but how much do those students need from you? What are the requirements of the various platforms in terms of interacting with students? So I need to yet learn whether Skillshare and Udemy require that their instructors respond to student questions, for example. And how much time do we need to dedicate to managing our course? That's something I'm trying to figure out myself. I'm thinking once it's set up, you know, an hour or 2 a week, but I could be way off mark with that. I have no idea, to be honest. Updating our e-learning materials is point 8, the final 2. So firstly, how long will the e-course remain valid? We figured about a year. Most content is kind of good for about a year once you put it together, but after that you often have to update it. Do you need to update content regularly? Well, I think not every month, but if you planned on about a year. So well done for sticking with that. I hope it's been helpful. I know I've raced through it, but I think there's quite a lot in there that will be relevant to some of you and not others. And you can go back to the blog post and kind of pull out the points you want to work on. I'd love a comment, so comment below, or you can email me at Renee, RENEE, @zesty.com, ZESTEE. And I wish you all the best with creating an e-course if you're new to it. I am going to now move on to actually trying out one of the platforms. I've already got one on Sensei, which you can see via the social media school tab at zesty.com. That's all set up with Sensei. I'm going to try, I think I'll go to Skillshare next, and then Udemy will be my 3rd, and I'll try out this Fendora, I think it is the 4th. And I'll report back on how it goes. And if you create a course, please let me know how you go. So thanks. I'll talk to you later.